Thanks for watching Guns and Watches. Today is some political commentary, which is actually in the description here. Love talking about guns, love talking about watches. I seem to be addicted to watches lately, but I am really sick of everybody redefining conservatives. And it used to be you didn't get to call yourself that. It used to matter. It used to mean something. And we used to have three prongs of conservatism. We had fiscal conservatism, we had social conservatism, and then we had defense conservatism. Now, by fiscal conservatism meant that we wanted to limit the size of the federal government and bring down spending, increase economic activity in order to have government. We wanted to have government, but we wanted to have limited federal government with fiscal sanity and stop with the spending and stop with the debt and stop with the handouts. And then with the next one was social conservatism, meant that one man and one woman equals marriage, have a family, have kids, go to the sock hop, date, kind of abstain from having sex out of marriage, don't be a drunk, get a job, raise your family, nuclear home, nuclear family type situation. Friday night lights, like to play the football, like the American apple pie type social America type conservatism, where we can hug the flag and have lots of patriotism. And then we had the defense part of conservatism, which was peace through strength, largely expressed through the Ronald Reagan era, where he and Margaret Thatcher and a few others got together and defeated the Soviet Union through strength, through intimidation, and by not using a large military. And all of this has seemed to have come crashing down in later days. This idea that racism would exist on the right is abhorrent. I personally started my life as a young person. You're usually left-minded, and I thought the left was where you were if you supported minority rights. I don't like discrimination. I do not like people being treated differently or poorly based on their skin color, based upon male or female, or based upon ethnicity. I, as a conservative, want everybody to have an equal chance at life, not an equal outcome. And then I learned through the NRA, I actually realized independently that black people were discriminated in the United States, and this was in the late 90s, by Democrats because they were corralled in these inner cities, disarmed and governed by white liberals who kept them poor and kept them defenseless in these high crime areas with no hope. I wrote to the NRA saying, why are all the gun laws in the places where the people need the guns? And they turned around and sent me, before I was even a member of the NRA, they sent me a paper called The Racist Roots of Gun Control, which I highly recommend going, finding, and reading. It's available free on the internet. And you'll find out that gun control and oppression comes from the Democrats. It comes from the left. And it always comes from the left. And I went through a change to become a conservative person, realizing that what I already believed was conservatism. And now today, finding out that there are people who are absolutely not conservative being associated with the conservative movement because they are bigots and homophobes and these just wretched human beings who are anti-Semitic and anti-everything. I guess they're anti-everything. I don't know how a guy with a Latin last name can actually be anti-Latino. I don't even get it. There's some kind of a psychological need to be examined there. But these aren't conservative values. Conservatism, or the Republicans marched with MLK. The Republicans helped get the Civil Rights Act passed because conservatism wants everybody, neither Jew nor Greek, neither slave nor free. We want everybody to have an equal shot at life, regardless of your skin color, regardless of your ethnicity, and regardless of what church you go to. And when it comes to the nation of Israel, it's the only democracy in the Middle East. And if you leave Jewish people alone, They really just want to be left alone so they could become doctors and lawyers and successful and invent medicines and desalinate water over there and make crops and have a peaceful life. So I don't understand where this anti-Semitism comes from. I guess I'm just born under a rock because I didn't even know such a thing existed until maybe in the last 10 or 15 years. I had this friend at church where every single topic we talked about turned into a problem that was responsible by Jewish bankers from hundreds of years ago. And this guy is just so enamored, just obsessed with this idea of Jewish bankers causing him problems in 2020, whatever it was. And the last conversation I had with him, my adult son and I are sitting on the couch and with this fellow on like a love seat, and we're watching football, and we start a conversation, and in 5 minutes, the guy turned the conversation into something about Jewish bankers, and my son turned, and I looked at each other and high-fived each other and started laughing. He goes, "What?" We said, "You did it again, man. You're talking about Jewish bankers again. You really need help." And we do this to a guy in his face. And I had no idea that this was some widespread thing. So people, if you are obsessed with some other person, some they or some them that is trying to control you and obsessed about this, you need to stop doing that. There's two people who are the master of your destiny, you and God. You're not, you have, everybody in history has had overlords. Everybody in history has had kings and dukes and financial people that controlled society. Get over it. There's no mystery guy lurking around the corner that's trying to control your every move. They didn't care what you're looking at on your phone. But boy, was this guy concerned about it. And that's what these two bozos are making millions of dollars fomenting this hatred and this paranoia, where the good guy on the screen was Rush Limbaugh, may he rest in peace, where every day we had 3 hours of hilarious positivity on the radio, and many of us grew up listening to that. We'd go out of our way to listen to Rush because he was just hysterical, and he was so likable, and he was so positive, and it was always about the next thing, having hope. Okay, we have a setback. We have a bad election. Watch how it's going to turn the country sorry, and then everybody's going to come back and come to their senses. And Rush was just this positive, optimistic guy who was not anti-anything. If anything, he was an inspiration for people to be entrepreneurs and to make a living. But today there's this idea that we're going to redefine conservatism, that complete left-wing fiscal policy from Franklin Delano Roosevelt to LBJ to Donald J. Trump can be called conservative or Republican is absurd. This enormous spending, and then you want to tax everybody through these whimsical tariffs and then give a rebate to the people that paid the tariffs. I mean, how stupid do you think we are? This is insanity. That's not conservative fiscal policy. Yes, using tariffs to balance out free trade, where trade is not free and not fair, is exactly what he should have done. But if the guy can wake up in the morning and decide that he's upset with the Prime Minister of Canada and change their trade deal on a whim, that's a freaking king. That's not a president. And these tariffs and these economic policies need to be ratified through the Senate, and they need to be calmed down, and they need to be passed through elected representatives in a deliberative body, because that's how our country is set up. We were not set up to have some type of a 4-year monarch who could just decide stuff. In fact, we elected Trump because we didn't like Obama with his pen and his phone doing all of this crazy stuff. So this is going to go on and on and on. This is a little bit of a rant, but please let's just stop redefining conservatism and understand that conservatism doesn't have a home right now. Real conservatism, things that are espoused by Rush Limbaugh, by the late Rush Limbaugh, by the late Charles Krauthammer, by George Will, by Ben Shapiro. These guys are real conservatives, real thoughtful people. These guys who are over here talking about the Jews. I mean, what on earth are you concerned about the Jews for? They're not even a fraction of the percentage of the population of the earth. These people who are anti-legal immigration. Trump isn't even anti-legal immigration. Trump has always been in favor of the H-1B visa. He's been in favor of bringing the best doctors and scientists and engineers and investment to this country to make this country the best. He wants the best people on earth to come here. So do I. So do all conservatives. We want this to be the land of the free, and that people can freely come here to make investments, to be entrepreneurs, and to make this land better, which ultimately makes the country better, makes the world better. We don't want to wall the place off and be isolationists. And Trump has never been in that camp. Trump's kind of a bizarre person to unify behind, because he holds so many opposing viewpoints at the same time, and he changes his mind all the time. So I don't know where this movement goes, but let's all pray that it goes back to where we can have real conservative representation, like these governors. We had Youngkin as a governor. I know everybody's hot on DeSantis, and he's got the resume and the intellect, but he's just got the personality of a matzah is what he's got. That's what he does. And this idea that we're going to get rid of property taxes, I don't understand how that's going to work out whatsoever. But anyway, this is a beginning rant. Let's see if I post this, if it gets some kind of traction. Please like and follow and subscribe to this wherever you might hear it. Let me know you're out there. Let me know your thoughts. Tell me off. That's fine too. This is an anonymous channel, so you can anonymously tell me off. But thanks for watching Guns and Watches, and maybe I'll get back to looking at hardware here in a little bit. Have a good week.